My mom has me, a teen female. I'm her only child, but she's been a stepmom to my half-siblings for 20 years now. My half-siblings' mom died, and our dad met my mom 3 years later, and they married. My half-siblings hate my mom. She's always deluded herself into believing she's their mother and that they care about her. I remember her always trying to reach them and being rejected, sometimes harshly, and sometimes they just ignored her. Both my half-sister and half-brother are married with babies now. Unfortunately, neither of them invited Mom or me to their weddings. Dad got a solo invite and didn't go, so my mom has actually never met their babies. She sent them each a package when their first were born, and they were promptly sent back, with the stuff destroyed. I asked Mom not to make Mother's Day plans so I could plan something, and she agreed. Mother's Day came and she was gone before I woke up. I couldn't get through to her on her phone. At noon, my dad said his son had called, and she had shown up at my half-siblings' houses, trying to spend the day with them, and showed that they still had a mother on Mother's Day. They kicked her out, but she stayed the whole day. I had spent money on a couple of Mom's favorite places to ensure we could go, and I lost that. I had a bought and handmade gift left sitting there too. By the time it got to 4 p.m., I had torn the wrapping off the gift I had bought, found the receipt, and decided to return it the next day after school. I got increasingly mad, and she finally got home at 8 p.m. I asked her where she had been, and she told me she was showing her older kids and grandkids that she loved them and was there. I asked her how many times she had to be told she was not their mom or their kid's grandmother for her to get it. She told me I couldn't possibly understand at my age. I asked her about the stuff I had planned, and she told me it was no big deal and that I could still give her the gifts, but she needed to be there for her older babies, and it was just a homemade dinner I had planned for her. I told her it wasn't. I told her everything I had planned for her, and she told me to rebook it, and we'd try to get my siblings involved and make it a real celebration. I told her she had a child who loved and wanted to celebrate her, and instead, she went chasing after 2 grown adults who never wanted a thing to do with her. She told me she never planned to spend the day with me and would always seek out her other children. I tossed the gift I made into the fireplace in front of her, and she told me I was being so childish and had to share her rather than being a spoiled, selfish little madam. I told her she'd end up bitter and lonely one day, and I won't be there when it finally sank in that my half-siblings would never accept her. I told her I wasn't going to be anyone's consolation prize. Mom yelled at me for the disrespect, and she and Dad told me I was out of line yesterday. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She completely missed the point. She has a daughter who loves her and rejected your gifts before you even gave them. And she doesn't see the irony of getting mad your half-siblings ignored her when she ignored you all day? No. Get your education, get a job, and move the heck away from her. You're right. She will realize one day that she pushed you away herself. Oof! She told me I couldn't possibly understand at my age. I'm 60. You understand perfectly. She's the one who doesn't get it. We heard plenty of stories with kids and adult kids who have suffered from step-parents trying to enforce blended family intimacy. People want what they can't have. Your mom seeks their love because she can't have it. Your love is in her back pocket. I suspect Mother Dearest will discover her back pocket has a hole. This isn't about you being a good enough daughter for your mom, kiddo. It's about your mom not being a good enough mother for you. She's after the high of the unattainable and doesn't have anything left for you but scraps. I'm sorry, this sucks. But one thing my life has taught me is that you can find maternal love in a lot of different places. I hope you find yours soon. I, 33 female, am currently house training my puppy. He is great about holding and sleeping through the night, as long as it's a calm environment. My boyfriend stays over every weekend. He knows my schedule and how I've been operating. Last Saturday, my boyfriend, 37, wanted to hang out with his friends at a rooftop bar downtown. I decided to stay home. He asked if he should come back to sleep over or not, and I said he could, as long as he didn't come home super late. He said he wouldn't be long, and he'd be back by 8 p.m. He left at noon and left his backpack there since he would return. I didn't hear from him all day until about 7 p.m. when my boyfriend said he was leaving soon. Then for the next 3 hours, my boyfriend kept saying he would be leaving soon or getting ready to leave. He would lie and say he was walking to the train. But 45 minutes later, when he still wasn't, I messaged to see where he was, and he said that they were still hanging out. This behavior was triggering for reasons I won't get into, based on past incidents, and I felt like he was screwing me around. At 10 p.m., I was really aggravated and felt like an idiot for waiting around. Also, I didn't want my puppy to wake up and get excited or confused, plus potentially have an accident when my boyfriend strolled in at God knows what time, and then I'd have to take him out. We're in a night routine that has worked for us, and I don't want to mess with it. So when my boyfriend said, yet again, getting on the train soon, I texted back and said, don't come back here. Go home. I'm going to sleep. My boyfriend didn't reply. The next day, he came to get his bag and left without barely saying a word. Afterward, he texted me, saying I left him stranded and just ripped me to shreds. Since then, I haven't heard from him. It's been a week, and I'm getting the silent treatment. After thinking about it, I realized he must have left his house keys in his backpack. How was I to know? I wish he had just told me that instead of immediately turning silent on Saturday night when I told him not to come back here. If he needed his keys, I would have left his bag outside my door. So the lack of communication and immediately turning sullen, I don't get it. Am I the idiot? I kind of feel like a witch based on my boyfriend's treatment of me right now. So maybe I was being unnecessarily harsh and unreasonable. Not the idiot. He's 37? Oh, good Lord. Your 37-year-old boyfriend is acting like a baby. Also a red flag you should definitely reconsider, especially with the lack of communication on his part. Then he proceeded to give you the silent treatment, then proceeded to rip you apart when all he had to do was communicate his keys could have potentially been in the bag. I seriously thought this was a high school relationship based on the boyfriend's behavior. Then I rechecked his age. Embarrassing behavior from a 20-year-old, never mind a grown man. Sis, dump him. You can do better. Girl, he's playing you. Wake up. Whose house did he go to if he couldn't get into his own? My guess is he did something to feel guilty about, in addition to lying to you multiple times. He thought you'd call him out, so he went offensive, using his rage to deter you from asking what was going on the prior night. Find a man who treats you like the partner you deserve. Update. Thanks for the responses, everyone. I broke up with him today. We've been having problems for a while, and this was the final straw. After I texted him, I was done. He sent me a novel, saying the same old BS and blaming me like usual, saying that I left him stranded without warning. Blah, blah. I didn't even bother reading the rest. I deleted and blocked him. He is such a loser. I'm sorry I wasted so much time in this relationship. I'm the youngest of 4 siblings by far. I'm a 22-year-old female, and my husband is a 26-year-old male. My siblings are 30 female, 32 male, 33 male. Between the 3 of them, they have a combined 14 children. They all have multiple children. None of them went to college, and they all worked lower-paying entry-level jobs. I graduated last year. I started college in high school and work as a nurse. My husband works on planes. Our household income is about $200K, and the average where we live is about $80K, I think. This is all relevant. My parents like hosting big family functions for every holiday, bringing the whole family together. Ever since I was a teenager, my siblings have always asked me for favors, mostly to babysit. I did it for a while when I was around 16, but I quickly realized they didn't appreciate anything, and there was nothing in it for me, so I stopped. For the past 6 years, I've had the don't ask me for anything stance, since my siblings are the type to ask for favors, but never offer to help when you need it. They always borrow money from our parents but never pay it back. My oldest brother is getting evicted, and he asked if he and his girlfriend and their 4 kids could stay with me and my husband. My husband and I own a 4-bed, 2-bath home. I told them no, because they have a habit of settling in somewhere and not paying rent and refusing to leave. They also let their 4 kids destroy every rental they live in, coloring on the walls, holes in the walls, etc. My brother and his girlfriend are angry at me, and they blew up at us at my mother's birthday party last week. They'll have to stay at a shelter, saying it's my fault, but I think it's their own lack of responsibility. My other 2 siblings agreed with my brother, and they think I'm a sucky idiot. I think that my siblings suck, and I don't want my house getting torn up by their heathens. I know that if I let them move in, I'd end up having to evict them, and they wouldn't pay for anything. I think it's not fair that they always ask me for money because I make more money than they do, and they treat my husband and I like we're some kind of upper-class snobs because we worked hard and made good choices in life to be able to buy a house early. Am I the idiot for not helping my siblings? Specifically, my brother, I guess. Edit. My brothers don't seem to know about protection, and my sister had her first at 16 and kept them coming after that. She has 6 kids with 6 different men, and she's always convinced every guy she meets is the one. I don't understand them, to be honest. We grew up in a normal middle-class household, and our parents taught us proper intimacy education. I really wish they'd all get it together, but none of them want to go to college or anything. Again, with the I'm poor, but I have 157 children. Come on, if you're low on money, just have 1 or 2 kids, so nobody will starve or live in shelters. Why do people put themselves in this position? So that others in the family can pay for their family? These are not your children. Your siblings are not your responsibility. They're adults and should take care of themselves. If they were sick or had an accident, or it was a one-time thing, okay. But no, they just don't pay rent for a habit. You are not the idiot, an ATM, or a free hotel. 6 kids with 6 different men? Yep, it's a habit. Don't help them. They'll just spend all the money and try to suck more out of you. Homelessness is an awful thing, especially for kids. Your brother's attitude, however, has managed to overcome that. I feel like the shelter bit is an attempt at manipulation. Wouldn't he just go to your parents or in-laws? Huh? When no one else will take them in, even temporarily, there's probably a reason for it. I'd hazard a guess that no one wants their house damaged and or to have to go through the eviction process. I, 35 male, secretly emailed my fiance's 31 female biological father, who's adopted and has no links to his real family, to inform him that his family had been found through her 23andMe test results. 3 years ago, she bought 23andMe tests for us, her parents, mom and stepdad, and my parents. This was a significant gift because my 5 older brothers have tormented me all my life with claims that I was adopted or that our dad wasn't my dad, since I don't look like everyone else in the family. For example, I'm tall with red hair, so it really healed an old wound to get definitive proof that our parents are both my parents. We weren't expecting results for her biological father's family to show up. She wasn't hoping to find many familial connections because she's a first-generation American. Initially, there was a third cousin connection on her paternal side, and over the last couple of years, it's grown into a practical family tree. I knew that she had stopped speaking to her dad over 10 years ago because the most he did for her was sporadically remember to call her on her birthday. She explained her reasons for not wanting to give him the information, but they didn't sit well with me. I tracked down her dad's email address in her contacts list and sent him the list of his known relatives. I completely forgot about it until her mom saw a social media post about him finding his family and told my fiance. She was very emotional as she told me about the phone call with her mom, but said she was happy for him. She commented that we didn't have anything to do with it, so I confessed to what I had done. She was furious, creating a major issue in our relationship. Am I the idiot for sending her dad, who's adopted, her test results that identified his biological family? You are the idiot, What the duck, dude? Honestly, I hope she sees this as the red flag it is. You've decided that if you disagree with her about things that are entirely not your business, you'll go behind her back and do what you want, regardless of what she wants. First, it's this. What's next? He obviously doesn't respect her feelings or opinions and can so easily be secretive and go behind this poor woman's back. I wonder how chaotic the wedding planning would be. If they were to have children or something, how would that go? Would he just pass on her concerns and ideas and just go about doing everything on his own? Well, if it's like that, he deserves to be on his own. OP, I hope your fiancé leaves your inconsiderate idiot. He screams like one of those people, I set up a surprise reunion with that person you said you wanted nothing to do with. Dude, he didn't deserve crap. If he cared so much, he could have purchased the test himself. There are literally commercials every 5 seconds. Everyone knows about it. This wasn't secret info. This wasn't something only you could provide the dad. It's just a straight betrayal for no good reason at all. Agree. He tracked down the email in her contact list. He went through her stuff to get that info. None of what he did equals a solid relationship, especially since he needs to address this invasion of privacy. OP, you did everything wrong here. You don't know her history with him, only what she chooses to share. It might have been a horrible childhood, and you brought it all back by contacting him without telling her. That's one of the biggest trust violations there is. It would be best if you begged for forgiveness, but I doubt you'll get it. My 20 female, brother Nate, 24, and his best friend, Kyle, 23 male, have annoyed me for years. They've been friends since they were kids, and I had to deal with both since Kyle was always over at our house. Kyle is a human chihuahua, small and yappy, and bites everybody but their owner. He loves to insult other people. He also loves acting helplessly. Nate is a bona fide white knight and always has to save Kyle. Kyle has managed to drive away several of Nate's girlfriends when they inevitably blow up when Kyle insults them or when they break up after Nate prioritizes Kyle over them. Nate's latest girlfriend, Gemma, 26, of 1 year, has lasted the longest. Kyle did the whole insulting shtick, and it didn't faze her a bit. He did the whole, you don't know Nate as well as me, and he cares about me more thing. Nothing. He did the helpless baby act, and Gemma just started doing stuff for him. He doesn't know how to cook and needs to call Nate. Gemma comes over with the recipe book. He can't do his taxes. Here comes Gemma. I've literally laughed out loud at how she outfoxed him. Nate hosted a small watch party recently, and Gemma and Kyle were naturally there. Instead of the usual, Kyle kept hanging off Gemma's shoulder. He asked her to explain everything and had her feed him snacks. I was dying. My brother looked angry, so I made a joke that his girlfriend had stolen his best friend. He yelled at me to shut the heck up and stormed out of our house. My mom said I was not being polite, but my friends and dad said it was funny. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Gemma is the reigning champ. She tamed the yapper. Let her enjoy her moment of glory. Like you said, if it was a small joke, then it was just regular sibling ribbing. If he's angry that his best friend and girlfriend are getting along, then that's on him. Again, glory to Gemma. I don't know, call me paranoid, but it almost seems like Nate likes it when Kyle drives off the girlfriends, so he doesn't have to break up with them. Most white knights I've met are really bad at being the bad guy, but now that Kyle and Gemma are buddies, when he's tired of this relationship, he's going to have to do it himself. There's a chance Kyle will still be friends with Gemma. I get that she outfoxed him. However, if I were your brother, I'd probably be more upset because they seem a little too close. So, am I the only one that thinks that Nate and/or Kyle have had more than platonic feelings for each other? I see what you're saying, but I think the brother enjoyed people fighting over who loved him more. He feels belittled because, this time, no one's fighting over him, and he's not the center of a toxic little love triangle drama. Probably reading too much into this, but here it is.